right, we just pressure washed everything on this property, pretty much all the flat work. We've got this stamped concrete here. We sealed this about 2-3 years ago, and it's, you know, it's holding up well. There's no stains, so the sealer really did its job. There was some rust stains on here from the chairs, and because I had this sealer on there, I was able just to pressure wash those rust stains right off. So this is due for a reseal. I'm going to reseal all this. Then I'm going to put some shark's bite mixed into the sealer, give it some traction. Also, I'm going to be resealing these stepping stones right here. And let's take a look what else we got going here. We got a couple stepping stones right here. This is a little stamp project I did with stain. That's going to get resealed. Also right here, basically this concrete's about a month old, and it's all cured out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same stain that I used over here, same color. Notice how I've got a dark one there, a couple dark ones here and there. I'm going to kind of do the same thing here, mix the colors, get some dark, some light stones. In the middle, we're just going to leave regular. We're going to hit a high gloss back on the patio, high gloss on the stone, stamped stone, and then we're going to do a penetrating on the driveway, penetrating sealer on all of this, because I don't want it to get slippery, because I do use it for, you know, kind of like a sports complex area. Here's the sealer there. Let me show you some of the tools you're going to need if you want to reseal. All right, here's some of the stuff you're going to need to do stain and reseal. Because we're using 2 colors of acid etching stain, we're going to be using the oak, which is the lighter color. We'll use this acid staining dripless sprayer. You don't want drips, because those will show up. So that's a great sprayer for that. It's dripless. I'm gonna load both sprayers, 2 colors in each sprayer. That way I can kind of spray them simultaneously, and, you know, hit each stone where I want with the dark, overlap it with the light. Then after we stain, we'll do a rinse. After it completely dries, about 4 hours later, we'll rinse it all off, the excess stain. Then we're going to go to your sealer. We're going to be using a lacquer-based sealer right here. Got this at Concrete Accessories. I'm going to dilute this because it is so thick. I can actually dilute it with acetone. I could probably get 10 gallons out of this, in other words. Instead of being a 5-gallon, I can make it into 7 to 10, no problem. Also, I'm going to be using some of this additive to the sealer to make it a little slip resistant, and I'm going to run it right through the sprayer, through this sprayer right here. And this sprayer is designed so that acetone's not going to affect any parts in the sprayer, which is what you'll need, because acetone basically destroys rubber and plastics typically. But this, they've engineered this in a way that it's basically reusable. When I get done spraying with this, I could run pure acetone through this, do a complete rinse, and it's ready, you know, for the next job. Engineered for acetone. Now that is going to go on the patio area here, and that's kind of a light beige. It's also going to go on this stain here, which is the oak and leather combo. Also, we're going to be using the lacquer base along the border of this driveway and the stepping stones. Now on the middle area right here in the driveway, now we're going to change sprayers to this one. And this one I'm going to put a water base in it. Let me show you which one that is. All right, here's your extra strength penetrating natural look sealer. Repels water, dirt, water-based stains. Can also be used as a grout release. So let's say you're laying some brick, some stone, or something like that, and then you're going to grout it. You could spray this first. That way when you start grouting, it's easy cleanup on your grout. So I don't need a slip resistant additive of this, because it's not going to get a sheen on the concrete. So it's going to be a non-slip all by itself. This is a good idea to get your non-slip in. That's going to be your high gloss wet look. Here's your sprayers. One color's going in, one stain's going in this one. I'm going to use a leather in there. I'm going to use an oak in here. This is going to get your water base. So that's the whole package right there. This is going to rejuvenate this, all this stuff that I've already done. It'll make it look like brand new again. Brand spanking new. Because I sealed this about 2 or 3 years ago and looks a little dull, as you can tell. The sealer's still there and it's still working. but I'm kind of not liking that dullness effect. So I'm gonna seal, and you can tell that the water and the dirt here has some issues. Take a look at this, how it's, you see that, how there's something, it's probably the hard water deposits and the soil conditions, but it's trying to eat the surface of the concrete away. So that's why it's important to keep a good sealer. And in some areas where you have bad soils and water, you're going to really want to pay attention to your sealers. All right, next step, we'll stain. Then we're going to go into full seal mode after that. Hi, this is David Odell with Odell Complete Concrete. We're just re-beautifying some existing concrete. Also, we're going to stain the border of this driveway. We used the Rolling Rock from Marshalltown to get this border to begin with. It's a monolithic pour. And you can actually see that in a previous video, which I will attach that link within the video so you can see the initial pour if you'd like. But in this one, I'm just prepping right now, hanging some plastic around the perimeter because we're going to be spraying some stain here, and I don't want to get it in the middle area. And it's going to be tricky because we're working with about 20-mile-an-hour winds right now. So what I'm going to do is try to spray, downwind, basically. That way the wind will carry it away from the middle area. So I don't really recommend you try doing it in the wind. It's better if you don't, because there's just too many things to try to think about. So right now I'm just hitting this with the dark stain. I've already got my other stain preloaded. So I'm just grabbing back and forth on my sprayers and they're ready to roll. And because these are dripless, I could actually stop spraying, walk across the middle area, not have to be worried about a drip in the middle or something, All right, here we are after the stain about 3 hours later. It looks pretty dry here. So I'm gonna go ahead and rinse it down, rinse it with water, light brush, get all the residue off. Then I'm gonna let that dry again. Then it's ready for a wet look lacquer-based sealer. The driveway, of course, is gonna get, penetrating natural look. So we're just gonna have the gloss along the border to enhance this stone. Now we got to be careful. You notice the residue of the stain on the plastic? That can still track and make a mess. So we're going to stay out here, away from that, and rinse all that excess residue into the planter. So I'm going to wet it like this. Now just go like this a little bit.
I'm going to do that part?
Yeah, just go like this.
Okay.
This will loosen it up. Okay, do that. Now rinse off some of this extra stuff. Rinse off the residue now. So what's happened is I was able to do this entire process in one day. And the only reason I was able to do it because we had 75 degrees, we had 20-mile-an-hour winds. So all those different things, I got through each process. And one that typically you're probably not going to be able to do it. You're going to have to wait overnight to get through some of these processes. But if you've got 20 mile per hour wind, low humidity, nice temperatures, you can knock these things out. There's your sealer. I left that plastic on even through the rinse all the way through the final lacquer-based spray sealer. So the tape and plastic held well in 20-mile-an-hour winds, which I was surprised it lasted that long. Now I'm looking at the stone right now. This is after that lacquer base is dried. And I'm seeing a couple little tiny air bubbles in that sealer. And I got a couple close-ups here that we can kind of see it, but very minimal. And it's really not that uncommon. It can happen. And the reason is because you have the temperatures and how quick the sealer's drying doesn't allow for that air to get out of the sealer before it gets trapped. There's no, I did put no shark's grip in this particular sealer on the border here because the stone has such rough texture anyway, and it's such a small area, it's not going to be very slippery. Now I'm pulling off the tape and plastic, and then I'll be ready to seal the middle area, and that's going to be the natural look, penetrating water base. Right here on the resin rock, which has been installed about a year, I'm using lacquer base, the sheen wet look, And I'm not using any slip resistant additive there because that has a good texture in itself. A little bit of dust on there, so I use the blower, blow off the excess dirt and dust. Now I'm spraying the lacquer base on the patio area. And you could see a big difference between before I sealed and after. It just brought it all back to the original when it was brand new. So that's all what it takes. If you ever have color concrete or stamp textured, anything stained, it's just a matter of maintenance. Just like a vehicle, you wax it every so often, or your house, you repaint it so often. Well, when you're dealing with concrete that you want to stay looking good, you have to pretty much do a maintenance schedule on it. So here's the penetrating, and I don't really want this penetrating sealer to go over on my lacquer base, because what can happen if you don't wipe that excess off, the penetrating sealer can't penetrate through a lacquer base, so it'll just lay there and it'll turn into white, milky, just a mess kind of. So you either got to wipe it off or make sure you don't overspray with a water base, a penetrator especially. Resealed the glass stones, and also I can put a link to that too if you want to see those stones getting made. Well, that about wraps it up. We kind of tied it in over here. This color is kind of the same as this one over here, so it kind of ties it in. The patio's one color, then we've got the walkway, which kind of lines up with the band of the driveway. Got the resin rock looking like new. A little texture in there. You can feel that little sharp teeth. The non-slip additive. You can feel that. It's like a 600 grit sandpaper. We're all sealed up. So that's a penetrating natural look sealer. So it looks just like there's nothing on there. But if you were to spill water on there, oil, or anything like that, it's just going to bead up. It's not going to penetrate the concrete. The sprayers worked great, and I think I can use them all again. Even though we ran acetone through these acetone sprayers, I didn't feel any breaking down of the hoses at all. They don't feel soft. Still feel, just like the day I got them. So I'll probably reuse all this stuff again, which is good because they're, expensive items. So it's good if you can keep them for a few jobs. All right, so that about wraps up this video. It turned out beautiful. This is how you do maintenance on your decorative concrete and keep it looking new is forever, basically. As long as you do this every so often, you'll maintain the color, the fresh, the new look. Just like a house or a car that you would own, you want to take care of it the same way. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you share, subscribe, hit the like button. That way I can push out to more people that need to do some home maintenance on their own concrete. Have a good one.